on to you Geminis out here. So you have the Six of Cups, the Queen of Cups, and then you Geminis have the Two of Wands. Obviously someone trying to come back, but emotionally they're behind you. You don't want to have anything to do with them. The Queen of Cups, because you Geminis understand that they don't love you. And to be honest with you, you're not really going to waste your time trying to even be in a relationship and trying to fake it like you can be in a relationship with somebody that doesn't actually care about you. And I'm really the same way. Person isn't going to get anything from me unless I care about them. Go and ask the people that I've tried to get to know romantically. They'll tell you. My heart has to be involved. If not, I'm not into paying for it. I'm not into any of that goofy stuff personally. To me, is goofy. So I'm not into any of that stuff. If I don't feel anything for a person in that way, for real, I'm not going to be spending money. I'm not doing anything. You feel me? Because there's too much fakeness enough already. And a lot of you Geminis, basically, you feel the same way. And this is what the Queen of Cups represent anyway. The Queen of Cups, especially in the upright perspective. Especially in the upright perspective. The Queen of Cups is a queen where, look at the riches that this queen is sitting on. But the Queen of Cups is offering a cup or the chalice that is made out of gold to drink out of, right? Offering it, meaning that basically, what are you going to do, right? Like, are you actually going to take the cup and actually love the Queen of Cups? Or is it that, you're going to have this falcon or this crow on it, where this falcon or this crow will basically take the cup? Meaning that, are you actually going to take it? Or is a person going to take the cup and actually respect you Geminis and love you for real? Or is it that they're trying to make it seem like they love you, but really they on some trying to get something out of you type stuff? And if they are, it's not a very long time before you Geminis figure out what type of time it is. And then you're gonna look at them a completely different way, because especially in today's world when there's so much opportunity, who has to act like they like somebody in order to get money? So, right? When so many different things are accessible. But then you have the Two of Wands, which represents, but you're prepared just in case if anybody would want to try. The Two of Wands, the Chariot, and the Nine of Cups represents the duplicity that the person has, where on one hand they do like you, but on the other hand it's like they're still caught up in their high horse, right? They haven't learned anything. They don't have you in their life, and they still haven't learned anything. They're still from the perspective of, or the think tree of, they're better and ego and stuff like this. And you can usually tell the difference between a person who is caught up in the ego, right? They're all the same. They move like an NPC. They try to be spiritual. They're not very high level spiritual. They try to be spiritual, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? They try to be spiritual. They're not really high level spirituality. They're caught up with their ego. They spend a lot of time ignoring folks. It takes, and I make this as a joke, but it's the truth. It takes 20 minutes to have a text message back and forth with a person, because between you sending a text message and you having to wait and then watch what they say and then wait a couple of minutes afterwards or whatnot, it literally takes around 20 minutes. It'll take like 10 minutes. Like, oh, okay. Person says something to me. Oh, okay. Now I can't say anything. Now I got to wait another 5, 10, 15, 25 minutes before I can say one word back, because if I read it and I get back to them in a timely fashion, now they're going to go ahead and make me wait 25, 30, 45 an hour, hour and a half, 24 hours, 2 days. More means of communication, but yet people are more terrible at communicating. You got text message, WhatsApp, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, Reddit, YouTube, right? The cell phone, landline phone, right? Mail. You can just go over to them. That's like 8 different forms of communication. People still terrible at it. It takes 20 minutes to have one conversation. Hey, you got to wait 20 minutes. Hey. Then they. But the point that I'm trying to make here for you, Geminis, is that's what I'm talking about. Right? Like, you could tell the difference between a person who's really real, who has something going on, who has awareness, and a person who's basically an NPC, because they can't get out of their own assumed superiority. They can't break out of that. It's always the same game. I gotta ignore you. You're less than. You're coming off too desperate. I don't want to seem like I'm too interested. All of these stupid blockages and restrictions that people impose onto themselves. All of these unwritten rules, but then everybody wants to act like they're baddies, right? They have the rebellious streaks. Then rebel against this stupidity. Who says that 2 people have to take such a long period of time to text each other back and you only began the conversation? Who says that? Who made up the rules to that? That's one thing that I've always asked the question of, and people still can't give me an answer. What happens if I text right back? You're going to ignore me? That's the kind of mentality that a person has. I don't want you for a romantic interest. It says to me that you're not on the level yet. You still haven't figured it out. You still running on rules in that sense. Why does it take 20 minutes? But that's my point. They're too caught up being the NPC robot. They're too caught up being the NPC robot. And this is why you Geminis will not take them back. This is why you Geminis have to keep moving forward, because of the 10 of Pentacles, the 3 of Swords, and the 4 of Swords. You are not listening. You are out of that matrix. You are not listening to these rules. Remember what it is that they said in the Matrix, right? All of these different things, your mind being in a cage. The cage is invisible because you don't seem to understand. What is it that you think Morpheus was talking about in that movie? He was saying all of these things that what Morpheus was basically referring to was all of these rules that people put onto themselves. You can't look too interested. You gotta act like you don't like the person. All of this stuff is bull. You interested in somebody, show them that you like them. Why? It's simplistic. You see how it's point A to point Z? You see how there's the path of least resistance in my suggestion? You like somebody, show them that you like them. You see how there's no blockage in the way? In a modern society, too much of a blockage. You like somebody, you got to ignore the person, right? You got to wait to text the person. It takes 20 minutes to text them. Then all of these stupid little blockages. And that's what Morpheus was talking about. You want to free your mind. You want to do something. I'm not saying that just because you want to do something, you should do everything. But what I'm trying to say is that when you legitimately want to be free, decide to be free. Who is making up these rules? Right? And it's being the NPC bot is what it is that you Geminis can't take, is what I'm saying. The fact that you Geminis are evolved, that's part of where your frustration comes from. Because Gemini is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but that's where your frustration is coming from. It's the fact of the 10 of Pentacles. You want something serious, but you cannot be in anything serious with an idiot. It's a mismatch. It's a hodgepodge. A three of swords to four of swords. You can't your level of awareness and your level how you've spiritually upgraded and you keep doing it. You Geminis have put yourself in a situation where you have become Pharaoh, like I keep referring to, right? When I make that joke, not make that joke sarcastically, when I say that you have become Pharaoh. And what I mean when I say Pharaoh, I mean from the perspective of what would you even say to the people that know you that you stopped hanging out with? What would you even say to them? You're much more spiritual. Like, what would you say? That your interests are not the same. The way that you perceive reality, life is not the same. You want to enjoy yourself, you're going to enjoy yourself. You're not, like, for me, for instance, right? Like, and I've never said this, but one of my fantasies that I think about, especially as of late, is for me to be in the Philippines or Thailand, and like, you know how they have those balconies and stuff like this, right? Up, in a high rise, not too high, but like a building. And then inside the building, there's like a restaurant and a bar, right? Stuff like this. My thing is that I'm just envisioning it in my head, where it's like I go out there, right? I go out to the balcony after I finish eating, or maybe before I ate, and I'm just waiting for the person to cook my food after I ordered and I paid for it. And then I'm over here, and I'm looking over not looking wild over the balcony, but I got my hands here like this, and I'm just looking at how just looking at this high rise at the entire one of the entire cities, or a good vantage point of the city, and I'm just looking at it like this. Wind blowing by, hair, I can feel it in my hair and stuff like this a little bit, the little hair that I have. And I'm just breathing in the fresh air and just taking it all in. You know what I mean? And that's my point. That's what I'm saying to you, Geminis. Being free, not necessarily being in that place where you have to go through all of these back doors. You have to you just do what you want to do. And what you want to do is not nefarious. But other people wouldn't be able to actually understand you. They're just heartbroken that you Geminis are not around them anymore. And then you have the Magician and the Page of Swords. They want you back, obviously, because of the Six of Cups. But they still wouldn't understand you. Even if you Geminis were to go back and you say, okay, you're going to mingle with them and talk to them and interact with them and stuff like this and hang around them long term, it's still going to be an issue, because their topics is not going to be what you want to talk about all the time. They're going to talk about what they do and the stupid stuff that they do. And you Geminis, and see, this is the thing that I've been noticing about Geminis too, right? Geminis, a lot of you have a lot to say, but a lot of you Geminis will hang around with knuckleheads, and you will play a role. I see y'all will play a role. Y'all will sit up there and y'all know that y'all hanging around normies. And what I mean when I say that in this instance, because sometimes I use the word normie as like a joke, like, hey, I'm a person that's still living. But I mean, like, in this sense, I'm talking about normies in the sense that a person who doesn't have that level of consciousness, a person who does not live at their level of consciousness. A lot of you Geminis will hang around normies, and you will play the role of a normie, like, oh yeah, stuff like this, blah, 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 blah. But when you actually pay attention to you Geminis, a lot of you Geminis don't really want to actually do that. Like, yeah, you may like a couple of things that normies do that maybe you Geminis can essentially get into, right? Stuff like this, but at the same time, doing a little bit of partying, but at the same time, a lot of y'all don't like to talk about a lot of the normal stuff. A lot of y'all don't even find good conversation I could be tripping, but a lot of y'all don't even find good conversation from the vast majority of the conversations that you have. But what do I know? Let's clarify the magician. And the magician is Gemini. What do I know? I'm just the guy reading cards. You have the Star card, the Wheel of Fortune, the Strength card, the Three of Wands, the Knight of Pentacles to clarify the magician. A lot of you Geminis want to keep growing spiritually, mentally, physically. You know, getting healthier. Regardless of how much of an outcast that makes you. Large price to pay. And you Geminis are willing to pay it. And then you have the Three of Wands and the Knight of Pentacles. So there's this overall sense of people still want you. You're a great conversationalist. You Geminis are amazing at people. You know, I salute you. You're amazing at being a conversationalist. You're amazing at knowing how to fit in, but you don't want to. And there's a sense of you Geminis choosing not to fit in any longer. And that if you are going to start to speak about more of the things that you want to speak about, and you're going to start to do more of the things that you want to do, and if that makes you into an outcast, then great, right? But you're not going to even hang around people who you have to dumb it down every time, right? You have to constantly dumb it down. You can't raise it, right? Right. Sports and stuff like this is as far as they take. So that's pretty much it for now. There's a sense, right? For now, there's a sense of you Geminis really doing your thing. I'm trying to get the YouTube channel to over 100K. Smash the subscribe button, smash the like button, hit the notification bell, set the notification bell to all so you can be notified whenever I drop my videos.